No More Tears came out in 1991, and it sort of falls into that area of metal where during the early 90s, everything was sort of starting to sound like less metal and more like that hard rock and stuff. With the exceptions of like Megadeth or Judas Priest, where they just got heavier. Metallica, Ozzy, Motley Crue, they all sort of made like the same sort of hard rocky album. Now, many consider this album to be one of Ozzy's absolute greatest, and I highly disagree. I believe the reason for this is because not necessarily the songwriting. If for some reason I just can't get in any of the songs, but they're all like good, I guess. It's to the eye of the beholder who Ozzy is to you, and to me, Ozzy is the first group of albums that heavy, awesome heavy metal band that's badass and writes really classic songs with Bob Daisley, Randy Rhoads, and Jake E. Lee. To me, those are the writers of Ozzy. And when you kind of strip those away, it just doesn't, it's not Ozzy to me, you know? A lot of people like those shit fucking albums that come out after this, especially the next one. A lot of people love that one for some reason, but I think it's one of the worst albums ever. He goes for sort of like that alternative heavy sound, some industrial later on the road. To some people, that's Ozzy. To a lot of people, that's Ozzy. They like seeing that live. They like that raw, industrial, heavy, drudgy sound of Ozzy. But that's just not Ozzy to me. It might be to you. See, that's kind of my main problem with this album, is that it's sort of a change. We're starting to see that change on Norris for the Wicked, where there were some songs starting to go this direction, like Demon Alcohol or Devil's Daughter. But then you still had those parts of the past you could tell Bob Daisley had something to do with, like Bloodbath in Paradise, or maybe even Fire in the Sky. And they also started to get into another big problem. There was Foreshadowed back in Bark at the Moon, when they had that ballad So Tired that was not that good. And then they actually went 2 albums without any ballads, believe it or not. I mean, if you want to count Shot in the Dark as a ballad, then go the fuck right ahead. But starting from this point, they would always have 3 or more ballads in every album, especially on the next one. There's like 5 ballads. It is fucking horrible. So the songwriting is a lot different. It's a lot less classic metal and very great middle section guitar solos and stuff. It's more catchy, straight to the point sort of hard rock with stuff like Hellraiser or I Don't Want to Change the World. And it makes so much sense where you see the writing credits on this album, because Bob Daisley pretty much had nothing to do with any of the writing from what we can tell. He might claim he does, but it says nothing about it because they keep kicking him out after every album they make for the tour. So they got him back, and he didn't even do lyrics or music, he just played on the album. Before that, they had Mike Inez, who I believe wrote the riff to No More Tears, and some people say that he actually plays on the song. It's really weird. And it also makes sense that some songs sort of sound Motorhead-ish, because Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead actually has writing credits on 4 songs in here. And I shit you not, he has, I believe, writing credits on the song Hellraiser, and that song literally is a fucking Motorhead song. The artwork's weird. Usually they have Ozzy on every artwork, but I believe for a while after this, they don't have him on there anymore until, like, Black Rain. But I don't know, is that Ozzy? Is that Sharon? What the fuck is that? And also, to tie in the not my kind of Ozzy and the songwriting not being as good as in my opinion, is that when I listen to this album, I like Mr. Tinker Train, and then I love No More Tears, and that's about it. I only listen to the album for No More Tears. So the first song, Mr. Tinker Train, is pretty badass. It sort of starts weird because this song's about a child molester, so you have like sounds of toys and like children on the playground. It's kind of creepy. What pisses me off though about the songs, usually they start out with a cool fast song on every Ozzy album, and this one just sort of starts out mid-tempo, but it makes up for it with an awesome riff and badassness and heaviness. The lyrics are pretty cool and it is really creepy. I don't like the build-up to the chorus though, like the one-way ticket part, but the chorus is awesome. The way he screams Mr. Tinker Train is really cool. Ozzy during this time also started to look kind of gothy and weird. Hey, it looks cooler than his weird glittery glamminess. And Mr. Tinker Train does have a pretty cool solo, so overall it is a pretty good opener. Then we have one of those songs where it's like, it's good, but it's not great, it doesn't grab me, it's not my kind of Ozzy. I Don't Want to Change the World. It has that cool, up-tempo, nice, catchy riff to it. And the chorus is pretty catchy as well. It is melodic like the way Ozzy sings, but it's just not my cup of tea. It is a good song. I don't usually like listening to it, but I'm not going to just sit here and say it's shit, even though it's not at all, so it's a good song. But speaking of blasphemous shit, well, I mean, this song isn't that bad, but It begins a long line of trash, and that is Mama, I'm Coming Home. This one was co-written from Lemmy, which is really, really odd, because this song is one of the most sappy ballads I've ever heard. Apparently this song is supposed to be about Sharon, but I don't get why they call the song Mama, I'm Coming Home. I never understood that. Whenever I heard about this song and they said, oh, it's this whole ballad sort of thing, and it's about Ozzy wanting to quit, it just doesn't make any sense. And the music is okay, and Zach does do a pretty cool melodic solo, which is the only thing he's good at, in my opinion, is just great ballad solos. Now we have Desire. This song is pretty damn good. I actually like it. It's pretty up-tempo. The riff is badass. It has an awesome southern Cajun sound to it. The soloing and guitar work's badass in this one. The chorus is really catchy and cool. This feels a little more akin to past Ozzy, maybe some stuff on No Rest of the Wicked. No More Tears, the title track. This is one of the most unique Ozzy songs, which is so weird to find this on an album with stuff that's sort of generic of the time. Begins with that iconic bass riff. It just kind of goes throughout the song, and it's really badass, though the lyrics are great, and I like the kind of whiny way Ozzy sings the song. The chorus is really cool. You have the awesome keyboard work that sounds really badass and epic. And I like the cool little fills that Zakk Wylde does. He doesn't do that much technical stuff, but it's pretty badass. And the song has this really cool middle section part that's not on the single version, or it just goes into this like whole piano part, which is reminiscent of like Revelation, Mother Earth. It's actually really cool, and I like the progression. And the solo on here is really fucking good from Zach, but it's still not on par with anything from the past from the other guitarists, but it is pretty damn good, I'll give him that. Then we have Sin, which is a song that's kind of grown on me. I used to not like it. It sort of starts weird. It sounds like a ballad at first. Same way Mama, I'm Coming Home started. Then it gets pretty heavy and melodic, and I do like the chorus of it. Maybe more my cup of tea. I'd probably rather listen to Sin than say, I Don't Want to Change the World. But then we have Hellraiser, once again, not my kind of Ozzy, but a good song. It is well done and it's really catchy. The lyrics are pretty cool and you can tell this is Lemmy all over the song. The chorus is pretty badass and I love the chants everyone does. Then we have another ballad, Time After Time. This one's extremely, extremely generic. Probably the worst ballad off the album. Goes nowhere except maybe towards the end. It is just the most forgettable song on the album. Speaking of another piece of shit, Zombie Stomp. Now what's interesting about Zombie Stomp, at the beginning it starts really cool. It has this awesome build-up that takes a while. It's kind of primal and cool, and then it turns into a primal piece of shit. The riff is kind of cool, but then it just starts to get way too southern, like they're trying to do Pantera or something. And the lyrics are shitty, the way Ozzy sings is shitty, and the hey dude, the Zombie Stomp is fucking horrible. What are they trying to do, like a dance song or something? Then we have AVH, which is kind of a weird song. It sounds bizarre, but I kind of like it. It has this really weird southern tinge to it, and it's sort of all over the place, but it's kind of catchy and really unique, so it is a pretty good song. Then we finally get to the last song, Road to Nowhere, and I will admit, even though this is a ballad, this is pretty good. It's sort of a longer song, and it has some really great riffs to it, and Zakk Wylde's guitar work is incredible, and the way Ozzy sings is really good. But it does feel a little generic, and it sort of doesn't go anywhere, but it is a nice way to end the album. So yeah, I definitely think this is probably the most overrated Ozzy album. I'd still listen to it, but like I said, when I hear it, No More Tears is just so much better than any other song on here. It's just waiting until you get to there, and it's like, you don't want to listen to the rest of the album. Especially if you have shit on there like Time After Time and Zombie Stomp, you really don't want to go on.